guys? This is Mr. Ninja Boy, and the time of year has come that we traditionally always prepare for around here on this channel. As we are entering 2018, today we are going to be looking at the best free-to-play first-person shooters to look forward to play now and into this coming year. And boy, I must say, this has to be the most exciting, top-notch list we have ever seen with free-to-play FPS games. The quality of games I'm going to show you guys in the rankings this time around is just immense. And I'm happy to say that we finally have a very solid list across the board and plenty of top quality options. With new releases aside, this time around we are also introduced with some nostalgic revives and remasters of legendary game titles that are making a long-awaited return. But hey, anyways, if you guys are just excited as I am, without further ado, let's jump straight into this list. Now, kicking things off at number 10, Warface. Now, a lot of you guys are probably expecting Warface to come in a lot higher on this list, as this game has consistently been making the cut for various years now, ranking highly amongst these games at that. But as I said earlier, we just have so much quality games on this list that I just had to squeeze this game in, obviously, because it is a very well-built game developed in CryEngine. This game is quite popular. I mean, it's been out for some years now, so I thought it wouldn't hurt to give some newer games more of a spotlight today. But nonetheless, this game is absolutely fantastic, and I do recommend that you check it out if you haven't played it already. It's a game that is still very active in its player base and also on the development side with constant weapon, map, and game updates. So it's definitely not old news. This game is still growing at a healthy rate and provides a very nice fast-paced modern-based action. Warface has also been expanding into an esports community. So taking the number 9 spot, we have Heroes and Generals. Now, very much like Warface, Heroes and Generals is a game with a bit of history and vast popularity, initially releasing in September of 2016, so the game being just a year old after its full release. Quite a new game actually, yet it's made its own big mark in this niche of games. With the game still constantly growing, this tactical large-scale combat game is definitely worth a try if this sort of game fits your style. You fight and make alliances as a team, and no matter if you play as infantry, tank, crew, pilot, paratrooper, recon, or general, you make a difference to the battle. Coming in at number 8, Argo. Now, Argo is quite a new and exciting release, coming out June of 2017, so I just had to include it in this list. It's described as a conversion of Arma 3, and this free standalone developed and published by Bohemia Interactive, who are the creators of the Arma series. It's based around being a hardcore tactical first-person shooter in which you fight across unrestricted terrain where a single bullet is all it takes. The time to kill is a lot quicker than most of these games, and with much of the game mechanics and the general feel of Argo, it tries to capture a realistic feel of gameplay rather than an arcade-ish fast-paced type of action. Number 7, Line of Sight. Line of Sight is a vast multiplayer first-person shooter game released by Black Spot Entertainment January of 2017. There's a lot of hype around this game leading up to its release, but many critics today will say that the game didn't truly live up to people's expectations. Yet you'll find others really praise this game as being one of the best free-to-play FPS games. Nonetheless, despite the mixed reviews, there's no denying that this game truly looks stunning, built in Unreal Engine, by a rather small team with huge ambitions to bring an FPS game to the market with unique standout features and fluid gameplay, and I think Black Spot Entertainment did just that. The game provides an enjoyable experience for people looking to play casually, and even has a more competitive side to it if you're looking for that type of experience. So if you haven't already, this game is definitely worth checking out and adding to your library. Now at number 6, we have the first of 2 remasters slash re-releases, revive, whatever you want to call it, a return of Unreal Tournament. Now, Unreal Tournament really does not need any introduction, but for those young ones, or for any of you that don't really know anything about this historic gaming staple of a game, Epic Games first introduced Unreal Tournament, built on the first version of Unreal Engine, all the way back in November of 1999, when I was merely a couple months old, a whole 18 years ago. Unreal Tournament was the original king of the hill frag or B-frag in the multiplayer gaming world. As the undisputed 1999 Game of the Year, Unreal Tournament grabbed the first-person shooter genre by storm, with the never-before-seen graphics at the time, brutal edge-of-your-seat gameplay, and a massive varied feature list that gave gamers more than they ever expected. expected. Now fast forward today going into 2018. After multiple releases of this game, the last one being Unreal Tournament 3 back in 2007, this is very exciting to many old fans of the series to hear that such a legendary game is making a return with Unreal Engine 4, bringing back the nostalgic game and mechanics from older Unreal Tournaments with the visually stunning graphical capabilities of today. And I must say, the game does look absolutely amazing. It just oozes out the graphical capabilities of the Unreal Engine. As opposed to Unreal Tournament 3, Epic Games decided to take a completely different approach to this release, incorporating a community-driven aspect. This game is essentially being built by the community. It's very much a game for the players, created by the players. They released the source code to the game, inviting community members to submit their own 3D models, including players, characters, weapons, maps, and also textures, concept art, and much more to contribute to adding to the game. Currently, you can play this game in its unfinished state, as development technically is not complete, but the good news is that this title is free now and will remain free after the game is fully complete. Number 5, yet another revive to a rather historic title in the history of first-person shooters, Battlefield 2 Multiplayer. After EA pulled the plug on Battlefield 2 online servers back in June of 2014, the Revive network has restored this game, now with online servers back up. Battlefield 2 was really close to the hearts of many, and the initial shutdown of this game was saddening to many of its players who still enjoyed playing the game online, years after releasing, even after the new Battlefield titles following it. So the Revive project was much needed, as many of the die-hard Battlefield 2 fans will say that this game contained the purest, best mechanics of first-person shooter games in all history. Sure, this game doesn't graphically look nearly as good as some of the titles today. It can't even compete with any of the games on this list in terms of graphics, but gameplay is an aspect that many people regard as the most important. So I just had to include this re-release, revival of this game on this list, as it's completely free to play now for anyone that wants to experience this legendary title, a game that will never be forgotten in this genre. Coming in at number 4, we have a rather promising looking upcoming game, namely The Amazing Eternals. The Amazing Eternals is developed by Digital Extremes, whom are the developers of Warframe. Interestingly enough, when this game was first announced, the game was set to be named Keystone, which was later renamed to The Amazing Eternals. This game combines a hero shooter with a collectible card game, where you essentially collect cards across 3 categories: weapons, power-ups, and traps, where you can choose which cards to play in battle. The game seems to bring something completely different to the very popular hero shooter genre. This game allows for a lot of room for personalization by creating strategic decks that shape the way your Eternal plays. This means that all the games that you will play will have that little factor of unpredictability, as each player can really tailor how they want to play in-game, rather than having to be restricted to standard abilities set to each character. Digital Extremes looks like they are truly putting together an extremely polished, high-quality production with Amazing Eternals, and I'm really looking forward for its release in the near future. Now before we dive into looking at the top 3 best free-to-play first-person shooters, I'm just going to share with you guys 3 honorable mentions that I thought really deserved at least to be showcased in this video. I mean, this year we just have too many amazing games to cram into a list of 10. These 3 games are ones I feel just missed out on making the list. But regardless, 1 or 2 of them might be quite interesting for you and you might be inclined to check it out. First game I want to mention, of course, was Blacklight Retribution. Blacklight Retribution is quite known amongst the free-to-play games in general. First releasing back in 2012, this game still holds up really nicely today with a quite active player base. Boasting pretty impressive visuals for a free-to-play game, it also offers quite a unique gameplay style that is definitely worth a try. As for the second honorable mention, I thought I would include Servarium. Now this is a very interesting one, a game which is currently still in early access phase, which it's been in for a while now. It's based around a post-apocalyptic theme, where skillful players are truly rewarded. It's a very robust, team-based game with quite a nice, open-world setting. It did not receive the best reception by a group of its players since release, but it's an ever-evolving game that is definitely worth mentioning. And finally, the last game that I wanted to shine a little light on in the honorable mentions is a game called War Mode. Now, it's likely you've never even heard of this game, because quite frankly, it's not quite as known as most of the games on this list. But it being a bit under the radar does not take away from what this game really provides in terms of gameplay experience. It's probably one of the most fun games I've played in a while, in terms of just literally hopping into action and simply playing. The graphics, I must say, are rather on the lower end of the scale nowadays, but just the game mechanics, the movement, everything about the gameplay is just so fun. So at number 3, we have Paladins. Now I'm gonna assume that most of you guys already know of this game, if not already actively play it. This hero-based shooter has grown so much in popularity in the past year, releasing in September of 2016. Since then, it's been recognized for many as one of the best, if not the best, free-to-play game. Developed by Hi-Res Studios, built in Unreal Engine, Paladins allows you to enter a fantasy world of ancient technology, a team-based shooter with strategy elements and plenty of customization. Through a unique collectible card system, players can amplify and augment a character's core set of abilities to play exactly how they want them to play. Initially, this game was drawn to many comparisons with Overwatch, a very similar looking game, but saying that this game is a free version clone of Overwatch is the furthest from the truth, as this game grew into its own experience really, making the only similarity between the two games the fact that they are both hero-based shooters. This game has a constantly growing community, and you can become a part of that today. Coming in at number 2, now this was really hard to name this game number 2 on this list, uncrowning it of its title as the best free-to-play first-person shooter on our video from last year. But as I said, these 3 games are ridiculously close to each other, and I just had to put them in some sort of an order. But I would say that Dirty Bomb is arguably in the top 3 free-to-play games in general, as I feel like this game really shows the best from the free-to-play market. I've been an avid player of this game for a while now. First releasing back in 2015, this release by Splash Damage is one that will be talked about and be played for many years to come. Dirty Bomb is a game that isn't going to hold your hand when you first start playing. It's a skill-based, fast-paced action game with highly competitive team play that takes the shooter back to its purest roots. The game has over 20 unique mercenaries to choose from, each with their own abilities, attributes, and all suit a different gameplay style for different players. This game is focused around 2 game modes, Objective and Stopwatch, both packing a ton of intense strategic gameplay. Now finally, coming in at number 1, the new king of free-to-play first-person shooters this year, Black Squad. Now some of you guys may agree with me, and some of you guys may think that one of the other games in the top 3 deserves the top spot. Again, all these 3 games are amazing in their own respect, but to me, this game has to be my all-time favorite free-to-play FPS game thus far. Recently releasing on Steam in the end of July of 2017, Black Squad is actually not a brand new game. This game has been out for about 2 years now in Korea, with its development team being NS Studio, but it's finally making its next step toward a global player base, with Neowiz publishing it on the Steam platform. When the game first came out on Steam, it looked rather promising to me, so I thought I'd give it a shot and see what the game is all about, only to find out later that I just couldn't stop playing the game. I actually made a whole video giving you guys a full breakdown of the game covering all of its aspects, its game modes, its maps, inventory system, and more, so if you guys want to see a full, thorough video about the game itself, I will link that down below in the description. But anyways, to describe this game in a nutshell, it's basically a perfect mixture of game mechanics that us first-person shooter players love. In a present-day combat-based setting, this game combines tactical strategic action with an addicting, arcadey, fast-paced feel to it. This game virtually has no pay-to-win aspect to it, not putting any non-paying players at a disadvantage to players who decide to buy the paid in-game currency, as you can essentially buy any weapon or item in this game by just playing and collecting gold. When first creating an account and you start playing the game, you're actually introduced with a very generous amount of currency right off the bat to spend on any weapons and gear that you desire. Very comprehensive player and inventory system, multiple game modes and maps, weapon skins, a rewarding leveling and clan system. This game just has the full package, and I would highly recommend that you take a look at this game and get it into your library if it's your style of game. The game's community is constantly growing into something pretty awesome, and I'm just really excited for the future of this game. You can surely expect some more videos on this game on my channel to come. Alright, so that is going to conclude this video for the top 10 free-to-play first-person shooters going into 2018. I must say, this has to be the best list yet, as if you've been subscribed and been a part of the family, you know that we are always excited to look forward to play the best free-to-play FPS games, making this list something we do every year. But this time around, we have an overwhelmingly amount of amazing games to have a great time with. If you're new around here, be sure to subscribe and stick around because there will be much more videos just like this one to come. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys have any other requests for top 10 games in a certain genre we can look forward to, that's what the comment section is all about. Make a discussion, let me know what you guys would like to see next. Oh, and also let me know if you guys think I missed out on any games to add onto this list, any free-to-play FPS games that you guys personally play. Also let me know your opinion on this list itself and the rankings, and if you disagree, you agree, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this series. And that will pretty much be it for this video. This has been Mr. Ninja Boy, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.